Emotional plus curiosity. Every fairy tale hides a secret they never tell you. A truth buried behind beauty, jealousy, and a single poisoned apple. Tonight, listen carefully, because long ago, in a distant kingdom surrounded by tall mountains and endless forests, there lived a queen who wished more than anything for a child. One winter evening, as snowflakes fell softly from the sky, she sat by a window framed in black wood and whispered a prayer. Soon after, a baby girl was born. Her skin was white as snow, her lips red as rose petals, and her hair black as ebony. She was named Snow White. The queen did not live long, but before she passed away, she held Snow White close and whispered, "Always be kind, no matter how cruel the world becomes." The Cold Queen and the Magic Mirror. Years passed, and the king married again. The new queen was beautiful, elegant, and powerful, but her heart was made of ice. She owned a magic mirror that spoke only the truth. Every morning she asked, "Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And every morning the mirror replied, "You are the fairest, my queen." But Snow White grew, not just in beauty, but in kindness. She helped servants, healed injured birds, and sang songs that made
I'm Snow White, I'm happy. Ooh.
flowers bloom brighter. One day, the mirror answered differently. "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen's smile vanished. Jealousy burned inside her like dark fire. Lost in the enchanted forest, extended middle. The queen ordered a huntsman to take Snow White deep into the forest and never bring her back. But when the huntsman looked into Snow White's innocent eyes, his heart failed him. "Run," he whispered. "Never return." Snow White ran through the forest as the sky darkened. Branches scratched her arms, wolves howled in the distance, and fear followed her like a shadow. She cried until her tears soaked the forest floor. But then, something magical happened. The forest softened. The trees leaned away so she could pass. Fireflies lit her path like tiny stars. Birds guided her with gentle songs, and animals watched over her as silent guardians.
I help me make this home. Shine lights with floor and dusk chair. Gleam together so red girl. La 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 sing with me. Walk in the fire when I hide. Every gleam and light you are there too. Friends together me and you. As no one sing the birds cry dance around, the animals help the other room. And soon the little chorus spark with joy and music.
Exhausted, Snow White found a small cottage hidden among tall mushrooms. Inside were 7 tiny beds, 7 chairs, and 7 plates. That night, she fell asleep peacefully. When the 7 dwarfs returned, they were surprised but not angry. They listened to her story, and their hearts opened to her pain. From that day on, Snow White lived with them. She woke early, cooked warm meals, cleaned the cottage, and sang songs that filled the forest with happiness. The dwarfs laughed more, the animals gathered closer, and the forest felt alive again. Snow White often stood near the window, wondering about her past, her father, and whether goodness truly survives in a cruel world. The poisoned apple. The magic mirror revealed Snow White was still alive. Furious, the queen disguised herself as an old woman and created a poisoned apple, red, shining, and deadly. One bite would send Snow White into an endless sleep. When Snow White hesitated, the old woman smiled sweetly. "One bite won't hurt," she said. Snow White took a bite, and fell. The forest went silent. The dwarfs returned too late. They cried and placed her in a glass coffin, for she looked too beautiful to bury. Love, awakening, and light. Seasons passed. One day, a prince traveling through the forest heard the story. When he saw Snow White, his heart recognized her purity. As he leaned close, the piece of apple fell from her lips. Snow White opened her eyes. Light returned. Birds sang again. Flowers bloomed instantly. The evil queen, learning the truth, was defeated by her own darkness. Snow White returned to the kingdom, not as a frightened girl, but as a wise and kind queen who ruled with love. And the mirror was never asked about beauty again. Because true beauty lives in the heart. I am Snow White. Please like, subscribe or comment my channel.